All right, squad. So in this video, we're going to deploy luxury stays to production. We're going to use Fly.io. We're going to use Supabase. We're going to set up an AWS S3 bucket, and it's all going to come to something like this. We're going to get it here. We're actually going to deploy the app, and then it's going to be online on the internet looking like this, which is super lame, but at least it's deployed. You can show your friends how cool your blank website is. We're going to set up the database in Supabase as well, and then we're going to set up this bucket. So let's jump in. Okay, so what we want to do today is let's deploy this bad boy because I want to see it, what it looks like and feels like in production with real photos, all that kind of stuff. It will help me get ideas for what's next. Okay, so we've got the listings. You can see here, we've got our little reserve now buttons. We've got all our details, the gallery. Now, need to add a footer, obviously here, but there are a few things here for our infrastructure that we need to think about. We need a database so we can store all this data. We're going to be using Supabase for that. We're going to need a bucket of sorts for images, right? So we're going to probably just use S3 because that's the easiest. So we need Amazon there. We're going to need to do our domain. So we're going to redirect our domain to Route 53. I find that the easiest. And we're going to deploy all this to Fly.io just because it's super simple and we can pretty much run it for free. Okay, so let's get started with the database. All right, so databases, Supabase, set yourself up. I'm going to create a new organization. I'm going to call it Luxury Stays. Type of organization is a personal one. It's a free tier, yes. Let's go here, free as well. Just put that there so that it's easy to see that it is a free account. Hit create, let it do its thing. So next we want to go here and create a new project inside of the organization. We're going to be in Australia. So that is Oceania. We don't need any of this other stuff. We're just going to hit, oh, we need a password. All right, let me generate a password. Okay, I've done that, chucked it in there, hit create new project. Let us do this thing. Now, if you haven't used Supabase, it's a very cool, so I'm just going to write here, stays DB password. All right, add that in. Okay, so let's see, hopefully it's not giving us anything crazy here. This key is safe, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want row level security. So it's busy setting it up. So let's do a thing here. Now, so this is going to do a thing. If you haven't used Supabase before, it's a really cool tool. It's built on top of Postgres, but it has a nice UI. You can have all these extra tools. It's got a whole bunch of extra stuff. It's got storage and everything you need. It's actually already done. Cool. So the table's there. And then we can use this connection string later when we're ready to go. What we're going to do next is we're going to create a bucket here, right? So from here, I'm going to create a new bucket and we're going to call this Luxury Stays. Let me just double check my naming conventions. I'm pretty sure it's Kebab Case, Luxury Stays. And then we're just going to call it Production here. Okay. ACL's disabled, block all public access, no bucketing versioning, normal encryption. Okay, I'm gonna hit create bucket. So we need that bucket for later on. Okay, so that should create it there. We've got our Luxury Stays production bucket. Okay, so what we're gonna need to do here is we're going to need to get an IAM profile so that we can actually access this and get the keys and stuff. So let's do that. Ignore these because they're old, but we're going to create a new user and it's going to be Luxury Stays Production. Don't need access to the management console. We're going to hit next. We're going to say attach policies directly and we're going to look for S3 full access. I'm going to go next. And we're going to create that user. Sweet. So there we go. We got Luxury Stays Production. Now we don't have an access key yet, so we'll create that. So we click security credentials here. And then what we do here is we create an access key. And we want to use this to run an application running outside of AWS. I'm going to hit next. Don't need it. That we're going to hit create access key. All right, so I'm going to copy you're going to copy your access key and your secret access key, and you're going to use those to access AWS as we go through this tutorial. All right, now we just hit done. Correct. So that user is now ready. So this user here can access S3 full access. So don't leak those keys, because then anyone can upload anything to your S3 bucket. Now what I'm going to do here is on one of my other buckets, I've got this cause policy, right? So this allows us to write from the client. So any origin, right? So we're allowing it from any origin to write if they have the right details, the access key. So we usually upload with a authenticated URL, but anyway, we're going to grab this here, and now I'm just going to put that on the luxury stays here. We're going to go permissions, we're going to scroll down, we're going to edit the cause here. Wow, that's interesting for dark mode. So we're going to allow get post put. All right, save all that out. Should probably just give you a quick look at all this. So allowed headers, content type, all these Amazon ones. We're going to get allowed methods of get post. It's a bit small actually. Get post put head, allowed origins anywhere, and we're allowed to expose the E tag, max age 3000. And then we're also doing the get and the head here, and allowed origins all here with no headers. So that's all good for the cause. So excellent. Now what we want to do as well, we can do this later once we've set up Fly, but what we'll do next is go in and add those credentials to our app. Okay, so for our storage, so at the moment when we're running luxury stays, we're running it all locally. So we're going to go and config, we're going storage here, right? Now for production, we just labeled this bucket storage type here. So we're going to say Amazon service S3. And then you can see here, the access key is going to look for Rails application credentials, dig AWS access key, and the secret key here as well. And the region, we are going to be, what is this? It's called AP. So the region is this one. AP Southeast 2 there. And then our bucket. So this is going to be luxury stays, and you can see the naming convention here, right? So it's luxury stays and then the environment. So production or development. So we're just going to have that. Now we just need to set these. Okay, so to set these, we are going to do, let's grab it. Okay, so we're going to paste it in here. We open a new tab. So inside of luxury stays, it's going to be editor code equals wait. So we're basically just waiting for bin Rails credentials edit, and we're going to edit the environment production. So let's open that up and put it here, open. Okay. So we can uncomment this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to paste your AWS access key and secret access key here and go from there. All right, so I'm going to do that. And then once you've done that, save the file and close it off. So once you've saved it, you should see here, that should have saved. And there you get file encrypted and saved, right? So now that's actually encrypted. So this gets committed into the repo, but no one can read it without the actual key. All right, so we've done that. Now what we need to do is we actually have to configure that inside of our environment. So in production, we have to see here, active storage service, right? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna use AWS for the storage there. Okay, and that's going to tell Rails to use that for when looking at assets, or sorry, when using active storage in production. Next up, what we're going to do is we can actually probably just try push this to Fly. Let's just see what happens, right? So inside of luxury stays, we're going to go. So you need to install the Fly CLI to actually get this to work. So firstly, we're going to just go, or once you have that set up, we can just go Fly launch, right? So this is going to launch a new application. It's going to do a whole bunch of stuff for us. So it's going to find the Rails app. All right, so do I want to tweak these settings before? Yes, I do, because I have different organizations in Fly. So I want to just select the right one and set up a few things. So this is luxury stays. The organization I'm going to put under here. It's in Sydney, 3000. We want basically the smallest app. 1 gig's probably pretty good. Postgres provider. So you could use this here. but I'm gonna just go none because we can just manage this ourselves. Don't need a Tigris bucket, so we'll disable that. We don't need Redis, and we don't need Sentry. All right, so we're just gonna hit confirm. That's all good. Now you can see here, it's busy doing its thing. So it's gonna run through all of this work. It's created the deploy, and it's busy setting all this up. So it's busy creating some new files for us. It's wrote the config file. All right, configuration is valid. So we can hit fly deploy to deploy your Rails app, right? So let's have a look quickly what it's actually done. So I'm gonna open up Luxury Stays. So it's added a GitHub workflow. It's added the credentials here to be ignored. Well, I think that was run when we added that. Yarn, we got our Docker file, the production here, we're using the storage. It's created the fly little file here that does all the configuration, and then it's added the Dockerfile Rails here. All right, so that's all good. Now let's see if this runs. If we can deploy this straight away, that's pretty happy days, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna need a few things. We're gonna need the database. We're definitely gonna need the database URL. So what we can do, let's go and set that up in Fly. So we're gonna jump into Fly again, and we're gonna go into the account. Excuse me. It's built it into the wrong one. That's really annoying. I wonder if we can move it. So I'm gonna just try launch that again. I wonder if we get to, yes, I wanna tweak the settings. I don't know why it reset my organization. It's a bit lame. I said, maybe I'll let it load, set it. Okay, none, disabled, none, disabled. All right, let's see. Confirm. Let's see, is it gonna do it again? Yeah, and it's just gonna override all this stuff. All right, cool. Let's have a look. The following images are missing from the Docker packet from the Docker file. But now if we go into SKG, there's Luxury Stays. All right, so it's created the app, it's ready to go. There's the URL. All right, so let's go fly deploy. Let it do its thing. So this is gonna take a little bit of time to build everything. So let it do its thing and I'll jump back in. While it's running actually, so you can see here the activities created a new secret. So to create secrets, we go into secrets here and see it's done the Rails master key and there's the digest. So we can't read these, which is great. We need to create a new one. And this is gonna be called database URL, right? And that's what Rails is gonna look for. So if you look at the DB in here, you can see it's not in here, but Rails will actually look for that and that'll be a full URL. So we don't actually have to define the path, like the username and the login and all that. So to do that, we can grab inside of Supabase, we can hit Luxury Stays, we can hit connect, and we just want a connection string. So it's basically just this, right? And what you're gonna do is you would have got a password, which you set when you created your Supabase, and you're gonna have to dump it in there, all right? So I'm gonna pause that, put my password in, and then copy that string into here and hit set secret, all right? That's done. Now, something just to keep in mind, I think there's sometimes a special characters in the password might break it. So if that does happen, you can just reset in Supabase and use their password thing. If I have a feeling that may break, but we'll have a look in the future and see if it gets up. So how are we going with our deploy? Oh, we got a fail here. So what can't happen? Literally, it's exactly what it was telling us. It was trying to install, and then it was saying it can't find the Postgres client library. So that's interesting. So that means that our Docker image doesn't have that thing. So we're gonna have to add it. So in the beginning it was saying, hey, these guys aren't here. And we were like, yeah, whatever, chief. But it actually told us. Here we go, see? So we need to fix that up. You can actually see it here inside of our base packages using SQLite. So that'll probably need to change. I'll try and get one that works. Fairness, you could use SQLite here if you wanted to run and store that. But they're just like, you got to manually back that up. And I just don't like doing that for production. I like to use a proper battle tested DB. So what we need, there's a few things here. So where are we with the from base? So there's a couple of little guys we need to install. So we'll just double check something. So I'm just gonna paste it in. So from base, and then in here, we're gonna have install packages needed for deployment. So we don't need FFmpeg in this one. We need curl, we need libvips, we need the PostgreSQL client. So libvips is for our image manipulation, and then our Postgres client here. And then let's just have a look at those other two that were in there as well. These guys, I wonder if we need these guys. Yep, so we need this one, libpqdev. We need, I wonder why libvis is twice, but I'm just gonna stick it in there again. And then we got the Python packages, and then I don't know what this one, oh, this is YAML. I don't know if we need that. So let's just save that Docker file now and give it a run and see what happens. So let's run fly deploy again and see what happens. So one thing to note here is we are building the entire Docker image from on our computer. So if you have a fast computer, that's sweet. But what you can also do is if there's a whole bunch of stuff that you use the same thing, like so for instance, Ruby here, you always do, libvips, all this kind of stuff. You can actually, and these packages down here, you could actually build a Docker image and then just pull from that. So here we're always pulling from this Ruby version Slim, but you can build on top of that image and then build that once, and then the kind of dependencies are there and you just use those. So that's kind of what you do in a bigger production environment. But because we're just having a little play around, what do we say now? So we found an incompatible module. The engine node needs to be 18 to 16 and we've got 16.19. Okay, so we've got to update our node, and thankfully I've done that before. So I've got one installed JavaScript dependencies. So application gems, install, here we go. So let's swap this out. What happened here, just so we know. So nothing really changed except this is bumped to 18, okay? So I've just bumped this up to 18 here and we've got that. So we need node 18. All right, good times. Let's go again. Looks like we're making some progress. We're pushing some layers up, pushing our image to fly, which is great. So that's exciting. Image has been pushed, provisioning IPs, creating 2 app machines, okay. But it's busy running, it's busy building. So here we go, we got an app created. So now we can jump into the UI, have a look. Here we go, busy building. Let's have a look if we can see some logs. Here we go. Warning, starting, seeding, crashing. What is the problem? So, view component generator. Okay, so something, we need to exclude the generator. This is this deploy problem, I believe. So it has a little bit of a problem here, but that's causing a crash. So it's gonna just keep, I think it's just gonna keep failing. It's not gonna be able to boot, but that's okay. So it's gonna fail, but let's have a look at what that problem is. So inside of application, so it's config application RB, we've got ignoring assets and tasks, but we also need to ignore generators here. Okay, save that. And we can basically just cancel this because that's not gonna run. Let's just hit fly deploy again. So it's gonna build the image again, take some time, and then it should be quicker now though, because it does have cached build sections, right? So a lot of the stuff is all done already. So it should go a lot faster. And that is now gonna push it back up, and that should fix that problem we were seeing. So I'm just having an issue here. So you can see I've got this Zeitwerk name error. V1 link tracking controller is meant to define. So let's have a look. There's probably an issue in here. So, because I manually set these up like a goose, v1 link track. Oh, link tracking controller. Okay, that's nothing. It's an empty file. Don't know how that stayed there. Well, that's probably the issue. Cool. We'll try redeploy again. While that's loading, I just want to show you. So in Fly, if you click log search, it opens up Grafana, which is this tool here, and you can actually go through, and this is how I found this error because it wasn't actually showing up here. So, hey, that looks like it ran. Let's go. What do we have? Do we have a crash? It's booting up, I imagine. Oh man. Something else is not working. Something to do with an image. All the fun things that you happen the first time. Class image has one attached. Active. Missing configuration for the AWS service. I think I wrote the wrong thing here. Let's have a look. So what I think it's complaining about is inside of config storage. I think this isn't. Wait, what? That should be sweet. You know what it probably is? It's probably inside of here, environments, production. It's not AWS, it's Amazon. That's the guy. All these little gotchas. Hopefully you watch to the end so that you can see them. So that should run now. All right, until we find the next error. But you can see, the nice thing about all these tools is you get all the logs here so you can easily fix the gift that keeps on giving. So now we're missing the service adapter for S3. So what that is another fun one. So inside of our gem file, we need to add the AWS. See, we didn't see any of this in dev because we weren't using S3. So that's how it works. It's always the fun times in production when you're trying to get to production. So we need the gem. So I'm going to grab that. So inside of our gem file, AWS S3 SDK, we need that. Let's go here. Let's run bundle. So it adds that to our bundle. Now we can deploy again. The joys of going to production, hey? But it's good. We're debugging it. We'll get in there. Oh, here we go. Deployed. This is running. This is running. Look at this beautiful website. We've got something going. All right, so we have deployed it. It looks terrible, but we need to go and add listings and do all those things and test the database. So nothing's obviously going to work here, but we have deployed it. So that is a great thing. So I think we're going to end it there because it was quite a journey, but we got there in the end. So we've deployed that to Fly. Next time, I think what we'll do is also go and show you how to quickly set up the domain name. So that's not a big job, but I just don't know how long it's going to take. So I don't want to extend this video too long. And then we can go through and do the final kind of pieces where we need to create our admin user. We can jump into Rails console and actually have a look at how you can do that through Fly, which is really cool. But until next time, catch you on the next one. And for those who stuck around after the end, we have got our Supabase table editor here, so you can actually see everything. You can see any data we've seeded. So I don't know if we've probably seeded some place types. So hopefully they show up. But this is using the Supabase editor here. Don't know why it's taking so long, probably because I'm on the free account like a pleb. But it should all be here, so you can access and navigate all these things right here. There we go. Seeded data. We can run SQL here. So it just makes it really nice. And I think that's a little bit more fun to use than RDS in AWS or any other kind of thing. But let's go.